What's up, everybody? A little scalp a lot. Back again. Guys, I've been so impatient to make this video today. And that's very surprising because I did end the day red. But listen, man, the lessons that I'm going to pull from this review are going to be very important. I've been on a pretty good little hawk streak the past month. And today, yeah, like, I definitely could have been green today. I should have been green today. The fact that I was not definitely is frustrating, but I know exactly why I was not. I know what went wrong, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about, man. Like, this shit is not a result of my strategy not working. It was literally just hesitation on making decisions, hesitation on execution, and a little bit of just discipline. But yeah, man, like I said, this is not all about just clicking buttons, man. There's a lot of psychology that goes into it. There's decision making, there's discipline. And I kind of want to explain like a bigger picture. This was BDRX. This is where things went wrong in the morning, man. I seen this thing. It was another slow start to the morning. However, we did get BDRX starting to get some volume. I was being very patient. I didn't really see anything I liked. The first thing I seen pop in this morning was LSE. A little bit too pricey for me. Very low volume, and it just wasn't something that I was going to be interested in trading. But then BDRX, look at this. Gave us a nice move. Nice 5-minute move. I believe it had news this morning. Haven't really been seeing too many catalyst drops, so it was nice to see that this thing had a catalyst. Less than a 1 mil float. Everything made sense. And look at this beautiful 5-minute pullback right here. Once I seen this thing pull back right here, try to push again, I definitely knew I was going to be interested in it. I was being patient. Look at this beautiful 5-minute flag. And right here, I was eyeing an entry. I was, starting to formulate my plan. I did kind of have this risk level in mind. This was about 265s right here, pre-market pivot. In hindsight, I probably should have used this pivot because that's the one that it ended up holding. But my idea was I kind of wanted to use this as a risk off. And when we started making this pullback right here, I like to wait until I get into a good risk position for whatever support I'm expecting to use. And I was telling myself in my head, I'm like, if we break under 280s, if it gives me like 275, I'm gonna squeeze the trigger. I watched it go to 275. I watched this dip, and for some reason I just did not take it. I didn't pull the trigger. I hesitated so freaking hard, and immediately I knew that something was off because normally I'm there, I'm ready. And when I see this, it's kind of like second nature. I take that trade. I take my entry. And as soon as I seen this thing start to bounce right here, I'm like, I still have time. I still have time to get in. I can risk now this 275's level. But I just watched it go, man. I missed it. I completely missed it. And I was extremely frustrated. Very frustrated. This isn't something that I just missed because I wasn't watching. I mean, it did exactly what I looked for, and for some reason, I hesitated to pull the trigger, and I immediately got, man, my FOMO went from 0 to 100. And looking back on that, that's fine. I just knew something was off. If I hesitated right there, when I normally would not have. Already something was just a little bit off, and I think it was just, I was worried about not being right, and that's very common, and that's something that I'm trying to get rid of because, as you can see, this strategy works. This strategy has high accuracy, and me missing this trade and ending up having a red day was not a result of me missing this trade. It was a result of the emotions that came from the frustration of me missing this. So, long story short, I missed this pullback, and once I seen this thing, it gave quick resolution. Look at this. 2 minutes later, I would have had a very nice trade to start the morning. I would have took this. I would have been risking, 10 to 15 cents, which is very manageable. It's well within my risk management plan. And again, I didn't pull the trigger, and to me that was a big mistake. I think I was more frustrated missing this trade than if I would have taken it and ended up taking a loss on it. Because my setup was there. It was right in front of me. And for some reason, it just didn't click. But I mean, that shit happens. You know what I mean? I think the most important thing I could have done was just sit on the sidelines, because I was so frustrated at missing this that I just had to freaking try it. Had to try the second 5-minute pullback, which again, I'm focusing on this first 5-minute pullback. This is the lowest risk. This is where I'm trying to put all my focus and my attention. And so, I really had to fight the urge to not trade this, but ultimately I ended up taking a trade right here at about, I think I got about 308s, which is perfectly valid. Listen, this trade was valid. First 5-minute pullback's great. Second 5-minute pullback's great. But the fact that I kind of got chopped up here because I didn't get the best entry. A better entry would have been like these dips off VWAP right here. It tried to push, but I took a paper cut, and then once it broke VWAP here, and it bounced again, I took another entry. Now I'm starting to force this thing to work. I took another paper cut because it was starting to push into 8 a.m. and I was holding that position into 8 a.m., which is usually something I don't like doing. So I'm already kind of like, starting to break little tiny rules. And again, I forced this one, man. I was so frustrated that I missed my setup. The best thing I could have done is just wait, sit on the sidelines, have discipline, understand that I missed the trade, and just be patient for the next one. Because there was another trade, there was another play that came that I could have got a nice base hit on, but getting these two little paper cuts right here, starting me off right on the day. The biggest lesson was, if I miss my setup, I just have to have the discipline to wait. Be patient. It's okay. I'm gonna miss plays. And that's all there is to it. Because we had BDTX, which, this thing set up a nice move too. After 8 a.m., this is the one that started stealing the volume from BDRX. BDRX was failing. This one took all the volume, and look at this beautiful 5-minute pullback right here. It pulled back to a pre-market pivot. I did try a trade right here. First minute tap of the 1-minute 20 and the 5-minute 8 right here. I got a nice little base hit right here. Didn't take profits because I kind of wanted to see this thing make new highs. So, another mistake was me getting a pretty good entry right here, not taking my base hit, and I ended up getting stopped out for a loss. So now I'm 0 for 3 on the morning. Took 2 paper cuts on BDRX, and then I was ungrateful on the little base hit that I could have got from BDTX, which would have chopped my red day down about in half. And then I could have just been patient going into open. But yeah, this was another little mistake, It's not like I was bag holding or taking big losses, but, that was 3 paper cuts in a row. But, after I took that one, I stepped back for the rest of the morning. For the rest of pre-market. I said, you know what? I lost pre-market this morning. However, I was questioning if I should just, not trade the rest of the day and actually just not take any trades at open, because I was kind of at my daily loss, my max loss for the day. I was already 0 for 3, but, I'm like, this is not a result of my strategy not working. This is a result of my, mistakes in my decision making, mistakes in my execution. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be patient at open. For the past several days at open, I have been successful at taking a good trade, finding the winner. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to give myself one good shot. Be patient at open. Don't hesitate. Take a trade just like you normally would. And if I end up, smaller red for the day, maybe I end up green. I'm not going to oversize. But guys, that's exactly what I did. I was sitting at my max loss for the day. Which is fine. That's all relative. But I was extremely patient. We had, let me see. BDTX was going at open. I was not surprised to see that because this thing did have a good pre-market setup. Remember, like I said, we had the nice 5-minute pullback here. Held a pre-market pivot going into open. Broke above pre-market highs again. And it was setting up. But this was a battle between BDTX and, let me see what it was. Damn, it's not even on the gainers list anymore. Let's see. Let us see. ATER. So we had BDTX and ATER simultaneously making pretty good opening moves and setting up 5-minute pullbacks at the same time. So I really had to be patient because, and I stand by this, very seldomly are there two things that are going to make good moves at the same time. One of them usually is going to take the volume. It's going to be the one that pushes up higher. It's going to be that the one that has the 5-minute setups work. And I'm telling you, ATER and BDTX were just neck and neck. And, you know, I was getting a little impatient. I felt a little impatience coming in. I'm like, they're both going. Let me just pick one. But I'm like, you know what? No. I had to wait. I had to be patient. And I'm glad I waited because... So the difference was... I think the main difference was BDTX was a higher float. If I had to pick between the two, I'm going to pick the lower float option, right? Lower float has more volatility. It's just what people like better. And BDTX, even though it did have this nice setup for pre-market, it was the higher float option. And when I'm watching ATER, I kind of just like the setup a little better. But I was still watching BDTX, but I had to see which one was going to be the one. One of these was going to fail. And when BDTX put in this fat kill candle right here on the 5-minute, I locked in on ATER. I'm like, you know what? I think this is going to be the one. And look at this, and the price action was nice. I liked the price action on this one. It had better setups. I missed this first one. Like I said, where am I looking? I'm looking at this first 5-minute pullback. I had to miss this because I was being patient to see which one was going to catch the overall momentum. And that was fine. So once BDTX is failing right now, this thing ended up breaking high a day right here. And guys, I snagged the next 5-minute pullback. That second 5-minute pullback, this thing had a beautiful low volume pullback. And despite my hesitations and mistakes from the morning, guys, I slapped this. It was perfect. I had a perfect entry, perfect execution. And I let this thing ride out to break new highs. So I had about, I think, 304s, maybe 305s. Perfect VWAP tap. Perfect 1-minute 20 and 5-minute 8 tap. And you know, we were having some trouble up here initially trying to break new high a day. Once I seen that, I shaved half off right here. And then once this volume kept coming in and we broke new high a day right here, I cut the rest. And that was a pretty nice trade. And I ended up small red on the day. So, you know, even though I'm red on the day, I was very excited to come and make this review because I know the lessons that I'm going to get from it. And I'm going to take those into tomorrow, you know. It's okay to have a red day. It's going to happen. I'm not perfect. But the lessons is the most important thing that I can extract from this red day. And it wasn't because my strategy doesn't work. It was a fault on my execution and my hesitation. If I would have executed like normal, my strategy would have worked in my favor. And I need to stop thinking about the trade that's in front of me. Start thinking about 10 trades and 50 trades and 100 trades from now. Trades over a series of time. And, you know, thinking in probabilities. You know, and have that kind of mindset because, you know, one trade should not make or break your week, your day, your month, whatever. You know what I mean? It's all about being consistent over a series of trades, you know, trying to maintain similar execution and similar criteria. And I'm going to try to take those lessons into tomorrow, you know. It was small red day, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to try to clean it up going into Thursday and Friday. Still green on the week. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Hesitated a little bit today, but, you know, once my setup showed up at open, I did not hesitate, and I was able to cut, you know, a pretty decent sized red day into a pretty small one. And I was happy with that result. It could have been a lot worse. So, yeah, that's all I got, man. Looking for a good Thursday, and I hope you guys have the same. I'll see you later. Peace.